Why you wouldn't survive as a spectator in ancient Rome's Colosseum. Okay, hold on a second. You're that person who loves history, who watches gladiator movies thinking, wow, what an amazing era that must have been, Kians, right? Did you ever watch those epic arena scenes with Russell Crowe and fantasize, man, I wish I could have been part of that? Bro, I need to tell you something. If you had actually been there, this video would be over in 47 seconds because you'd just be a statistic, is not in the Roman emperor's interesting carry-on category, but firmly in the where's the cleanup crew category. But don't worry, because today I've put together a full Colosseum survival guide just for you, so you can experience history's most dangerous venue from the comfort of your couch. Spoiler alert, you can't survive it. Let's get into it. First, a little context, because the YouTube algorithm likes us to look educational, but we both know you came here to watch gladiators hack each other apart. Okay, I get it, that's coming too, but let's get a quick briefing first. The Colosseum, officially known as the Flavian Amphitheater, was built between 70 to 80 AD. It was essentially Rome's biggest flex of the era. Like Emperor Vespasian looked at the neighboring empire and said, hey Parthians, we've got a 50,000 seat arena, what's your biggest building? This arena is so massive that even today people walk inside and go, holy cow, this is incredible. While archaeologists scratch their heads wondering how it's still standing after 2,000 years, the answer is Roman concrete, my friend. That stuff has lasted 2 millennia, while the walls of our apartment buildings are already saying goodbye after 10 years anyway. You're an ordinary spectator at this magnificent structure, and spectator does not mean completely safe, because history doesn't say that, Roman statistics don't say that. But once you start looking around online, you quickly realize that even being a spectator came with serious risks. Let's go through every danger one by one. Stage 1, trying to get into the Colosseum. And this is already the first boss fight. 50,000 people are all dying to enter that arena at the same time. 50,000. That's like cramming the entire population of a few large districts into a single point. The Romans actually made a pretty pro-gamer move by building entry and exit points called vomitoria. That word means to vomit in Latin, because these corridors would essentially spew people out en masse. Yeah, it wasn't the naming department's finest hour, but was it functional? Absolutely. Let's say your ticket, which is actually a stone tablet, says number 76. You have to find gate 76. Tickets weren't printed like in the modern world. You got a piece of stone with a number carved into it, lose it, and you're done. No entry. Getting a replacement involved a bureaucratic process so convoluted it would give even Kafka nightmares. Anyway, let's say you made it inside. Ping 0. You're in the Colosseum. Good news, you're seated. Bad news, where you sit is determined by your social status. Senators got the front rows, great sight lines, women sat in the back, and slaves were shoved up top closest to the sun, as if Rome added a bonus sunstroke feature. Let's say you're a middle-class Roman. You're somewhere in the middle sitting on wooden benches. Stage 2, the sun, the blazing unannounced villain of this whole game. Summer days in Rome reached 95 to 105 degrees Fahrenheit, and the arena was open air. Yes, there was a shade canopy called the Valerium, which required specialized Roman sailors to operate because managing it demanded actual sailing skills. Again, possibly one of the most absurd HR decisions in history, but hey, it worked. Still, that canopy didn't cover everything. If you were sitting up top, the sun was directly on you. You're drinking water, but what water? From shared communal containers that 50,000 people have already put their mouths on. Think about it. One person has a contagious disease and it's already spreading to tens of thousands. But if you avoid drinking to stay disease-free, the result is dehydration. Your head starts spinning and you go down. Heat stroke was a real problem. For non-aristocratic spectators, medical assistance was essentially non-existent. The if you die, someone else will take your spot mentality existed 2,000 years ago too. that's just a universal human trait. You're still only on stage 2, and your survival odds are already at 60%. 4 out of every 10 people left early due to heat stroke, dehydration, or the back pain from those wooden benches, and some never made it home at all. Top 10 anime betrayals. The sun is your biggest enemy. Stage 3, the crowd, or officially 50,000 people trying to exit at the same time simulator. The show is over. You want to leave. So does everyone else. This is the exact modern equivalent of a massive concert crowd trying to get out. Except at a modern concert, you at least have exit signs. In Rome, there are no signs, just screaming people, shoving crowds, and narrow corridors. The Romans designed the vomitoria specifically for fast exits, and even with the system working, it was still chaotic. Historical records show that dozens of people died in crowd crushes at Roman games. Game developers test their games first, find the bugs, and patch them. Humans also found the bugs, and the Roman architects eventually patched the design. But you are playing the pre-patch version. Your survival odds at this stage down to 45%. More than half your chances are gone, but you're still in the arena. Smile. Stage 4, wild animals. Up until now, we were talking about the lighter dangers. Romans loved what they called venatio, animal hunts. It was one of the most popular spectacles the arena offered. Lions, tigers, bears, elephants, rhinos, crocodiles, giraffes. Yes, giraffes, because Romans literally shipped giraffes from Africa to kill them in the arena. Easily one of history's biggest "what are these people doing" moments. These animals were kept in a complex underground labyrinth beneath the arena called the hypogeum, so elaborate that modern archaeologists still haven't fully mapped it. Using levers, animals were launched directly into the center of the arena, like a DLC character dropped into a boss fight out of nowhere. You're a spectator, but wild animals routinely tried to get past the barriers. Historical records note instances of animals making their way toward the seating sections. The Roman solution was visually striking. A wide zone between the arena floor and the seating was patrolled by heavily armed guards, and archers stood ready overhead. If the animal escapes, it gets killed system. But practical isn't the same as perfect. If one lion got past the first guard and the second guard lagged, that's now your problem. Archived records contain events noted as accident during venatio, written so matter-of-factly they make human life look incredibly cheap. Your survival odds now, 30%. Stage 5, being a spectator during the gladiatorial fights, the part you least worried about but should worry about most. Gladiators are fighting in the arena, you're comfortably watching. Everything's great, right? Not quite. Gladiators occasionally hurled their weapons toward the crowd, whether intentionally or accidentally. The historical sources aren't very clear on which. Personally, I think a lot of it was intentional, because humans have always had envy in their hearts. And while you're sitting there watching comfortably, these guys are fighting for their lives. Weapons, especially light darts, broken spear fragments, shield splinters, sometimes reached the spectator sections. If you happen to be sitting toward the front, congratulations. Your survival odds are even lower. The modern equivalent, a ball coming into the stands at a soccer game, except this isn't a ball. It's an iron spear fragment, and the moment it hits you, you're done. Senators up front had special marble seats, the premium package, Rome's version of VIP seating. You're in the middle section, well within range of flying weapons, with zero premium protection. Your survival odds down to 20%. To Stage 6, the sponsor. I can't skip this section because the YouTube algorithm exists, but Rome had its own sponsor too, the Emperor. The Emperor funded the games, and just like today's sponsorships, everything ran according to the sponsor's wishes. The Emperor started and ended the fights. He even decided whether a gladiator lived or died. If the Emperor appeared politically weak, the crowd would boo him, which irritated the Emperor. And an irritated Emperor sometimes decided to make an example out of someone in this crowd. The Caligula era was particularly colorful in this regard. If you want to describe his behavior in modern terms, Unhinged final boss energy fits perfectly. If you said the wrong thing at the wrong moment, something like, "This fight is boring," and one of the Emperor's men overheard you, your survival odds could instantly drop to 0. Rome did have the concept of freedom of expression, but the concept of consequences of expression was far more powerful. This wasn't like modern social media cancel culture. You weren't canceled. You were added to the next show's lineup, just not as a spectator this time. In other words, if you found the fight boring, congratulations. Now you get to make it more entertaining. Final boss, add it all together. Your statistical odds of surviving the Colosseum are extremely low. Heat stroke, crowd crush, escaped animals, accidentally hurled weapons, an irritated emperor, sanitation conditions. Each one is its own "you died" screen. Altogether, it's a harder run than even the most brutal Souls-like game ever made. In games, you respawn. Here, once you're dead, you're done. Full game over. The Romans called this entertainment. We'd call it psychological trauma, and yet it's the product of the civilization that built one of history's most iconic structures. I love that irony. We look at this now and say, how did these people have fun? But maybe thousands of years from now, future generations will look at our entertainment and say, these people watched this for fun? How? MMA, UFC, and so on. Anyway, you're still in your chair, still alive, still watching this video, and that is the most realistic scenario for surviving the Colosseum through a screen. Hitting the like button is also a pro gamer move because that button hurts a lot less than Rome's thumbs down. The decision is yours now. Thumb up or thumb down, the choice is yours.